Blah 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 blind blah 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 blah
Blind
blah,
ref.
blah, blah,
Blah 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 blind ref. Blah 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 blind
best
ref.
rock.
Are you blind? Are you blind, ref?
Canucks lose.
Canucks
again.
lose. Messier sucks. Messier sucks.
Fuck
you,
Boston.
Boston. Fuck you, Boston.
Protect the shutout.
Season's over.
The season is done.
It's done. There's no season left.
Hence why we're wearing our casual hockey sport attire.
Casual wear.
It's Casual Friday. Season's over. We cleaned out our locker. What did you find in your locker? The most interesting thing that you found on locker day?
Moss.
Moss on the
Inside of the locker, just lined with moss.
I've always told you should always make sure your locker's rolling.
Right.
The rolling locker gathers no moss.
Gathers no moss.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's true. It's a good point, but it's it's just right. It's in there. It would take a lot of people to roll that thing.
To roll the locker?
Yeah, like it's a big unit.
I keep my locker in one of those Zorbs.
Oh yeah.
Gathers no moss in the Zorb.
Is that a sport? Zorbing?
I don't think zorbing is a sport.
Zorb sport?
Is bungee jumping a sport? It's more of
it could be.
Quick thing you can do briefly.
Let's combine bungee jumping and paintballing. Have the paintballers try to hit the bungee jumpers. That sounds like a sport to me.
Bungee zorballing.
Bungee zorballing. Bungee jumping in Zorbs, off of bridges, paintballers.
There's two paintballers in one Zorb shooting each other while bungee jumping in the Zorb.
We just invented a sport. An Olympic sport.
Olympic sport.
Winter Olympics.
Olympic sport?
Olympic sport?
Medal sport?
Medal sport?
Podium sport.
Nice.
Are there other spodium ports?
Spodium ports?
I have a question.
Sure.
For the Olympics. Do the hockey players, when they win in the Olympics, go on a podium?
All of the team?
I've never seen a 3-team podium for all of the hockey players.
I've never seen a podium big enough to support an entire team.
Do you think that's...
Let alone 3.
Exactly. Is that why? Is it just because we've reached limits of podium technology?
I mean, I assume somebody's working on it.
You'd hope so. In this day and age.
But then again, the way that they do it is kind of great because the two teams usually have to face each other and watch the other team get the medal, which is kind of great and brutal.
Yeah, that's especially brutal. Yeah. Which is why, there you go, a burp was visual and audio.
Yep.
A true Alain Vigneault AV experience.
Yeah. AVX. Alain Vigneault. Fired. X'd out. Okay, so should we start it off? Should we get it going? Season's done, right? It's over. It's kaput.
It is done, which is why we are currently in our casual hockey sport wear.
That's right. And we always wear casual stuff to funerals, which is why we're going to eulogize, a.k.a. Eulogy, all the teams that didn't make the playoffs.
I do remember we've talked about eulogies before, but in this case, it's more of a gravestone eulogying.
Right, more of what we're going to put on the gravestone.
The gravestone of these teams that did not make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, sure.
Which is noble of us.
Yeah.
No one else is remembering these teams and giving them their moment of silence.
We're raising the team's jerseys into the rafters of heaven. Or lowering them into the rafters of hell.
I think it's sad that of all the playoff teams, the only one that got the deserved moment of silence was Florida. Because of their fans.
Yep.
At each game. But
it's so interesting that they have a moment of silence every game.
Every game.
Even when no one died.
60 minutes of silence.
Wow.
Yeah. But it goes along with our previous hockey sport recommendation, which is the no noise and no wave clause. They
we gotta have a
no wave clause.
Yeah.
Because they don't want any distractions.
That's right.
Yep.
For new listeners, no wave clause is a clause in the contract where the player doesn't allow waves to happen in the arena when they're playing. It's distracting.
Also, have you guys seen that movie Perfect Storm? I'm scared of waves.
Totally. Any shark film. Any and all shark film. Perfect Storm, George Clooney.
Is he in Perfect Storm?
He is, yeah.
If one player was the George Clooney of the league, who'd it be?
George Clooney decided not to act anymore. So who decided not to play anymore this year? Kovalchuk? There you go.
There you go.
There you go. We got that.
We shall take it. So these are the gravestones, if you will. You can imagine walking to the graveyard of teams that didn't make it to the playoffs. And
walking into the grave.
Walking into the grave. Actually, it's not so much a gravestone. Their epitaph will be probably written on banners raised into the rafters.
Right. Yep.
So these are the words we're putting on the banners, raising into the rafters for each of the teams that have dearly departed us. And of course, we're going to start off with the.
Let's get a little. Let's set the mood here. And
set the mood. Are we talking depressing thoughts type of mood, or is this more of like a celebration?
I'm thinking like funeral music. So it could be like bagpipes, or it could be like something like that. Yeah, any sort of funeral music. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Great.
That's the mood. Wait, let's hear it.
Yep.
That's perfect.
There it is.
Thank you, Leroy. Everybody, our producer Leroy is in the studio again.
Love you, Leroy.
Leroy.
Little scamp.
Finds the best cues for us. Best in the biz. Our first gravestone of the day goes to the best team not to make the playoffs. The much lauded and somewhat successful Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, it hurts my heart.
Does it?
What's going to be on their Eulogy jersey? Steve, tell me.
Final gravestone says, proof that the most storied franchise in sports history is good even when they're bad. They just can't really be bad.
Yep, that's great. This is what I'm saying. Top 16 teams play each other. 1 to 16, doesn't matter what conference, mix them together.
I think you should order the next year's regular season based on results in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
So instead of this regular season leading to your playoff matchups,
right,
the Stanley Cup champion would then, in the first 7 games of the regular season,
right,
because we both agree the regular season is the more important of the 2 seasons.
Agreed. Not nearly as important as the All-Star game, but go on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with us.
Nope.
Audience, no?
Audience?
Not hearing anything. Cool. Regular season is more important than the playoffs. The playoffs is just kind of this fun last minute of play mini game.
Yeah, it's like a mini game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a Mario Party mini game.
I mean, it's a pretty simple thing that we're talking about here because when you look at who are the best players of all time, I can recount some of the best seasons of all time. 215 points for Gretzky and Mario Lemieux's 199 points. Yep. Ovechkin winning all these Rocket Richards. Yep. They all have to do with the regular season.
Regular season, not playoffs.
Simple. But we are here to eulogize these teams that have not made it to,
That's right.
The mini game that is the playoffs.
Yep.
And the first one is Montreal Canadiens.
Montreal, we hardly knew ye. You died too soon. You're like River Phoenix, or anybody.
So many
Jimi Hendrix
could have randomly chosen.
Well,
there.
River Phoenix is sad. It's like it's better to burn out than to fade away. And Montreal, I guess they did kind of fade away. Burning out would have been getting beaten by Lightning. They would have got beaten by the Lightning anyway. But it's sad that they didn't make the playoffs. And I think they're just proof that the most storied sports franchise in history is good, even when they're bad.
It is very difficult for the Montreal Canadiens to be just bad.
Even when
this
they're
year,
bad,
they were supposed to be
good.
bad.
Yeah.
Why weren't they bad?
I don't know. Carey Price. He's
very
a freak.
Disappointing. Yeah, he is a freak. And that brings us to the Buffalo Sabres, our one-time favorite team. But then they sank to a depth that even us Vancouver fans really couldn't cope with.
I kind of miss being a Buffalo fan.
I don't even remember those days.
I know it's like a drunken blur.
Just like the goal song for the Ottawa Senators. Can we cue that?
Great song.
Great song.
Great song.
Best goal song?
We're gonna do a best goal song competition at some point. I don't know when. I just came up with it now, so I actually don't know when we're gonna do with it. But I mean,
we don't. In fact, I think it's been cut.
Let's cut it. Leroy, should we cut it?
I think it's been cut.
We cut it. Yeah, Leroy just cut it. So scratch that. Let's move on. Buffalo Sabres. What do we have on their Eulogy jersey?
Buffalo Sabres got a taste of winning. Didn't like it.
Love that.
Fair.
There you go. That's
it's not for everyone.
Eulogy jersey. Raise that.
Nice.
Up next, Detroit Red Wings. See you later. Didn't make the playoffs. What's on the gravestone?
This is the first time we've mentioned Detroit this entire season.
Yeah, haven't really.
I don't think we've talked about them once.
We haven't really talked about them, and right now I feel like we're talking about them too much. So let's move on immediately.
That's why it's a gravestone. Put that to bed. New Jersey Devils.
Yeah. So here's the deal with New Jersey Devils. This is what's going to be on their Eulogy jersey. Last year never happened. They made the playoffs last year, and it should be expunged.
Didn't
Sponge
happen.
it from the record. Didn't happen. No one cares.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a total mistake. They should. It's in fact, I'm going to go to the Wikipedia page and edit it and say did not qualify in the Wikipedia page.
If you guys go to the Wikipedia page and see that they did qualify, you should probably edit it and keep it up to date.
Yeah, actually, somebody else do that. I don't have time. I'm not going to do that.
An unbelievable misstep of justice that they made the playoffs last year.
I don't have time to do that.
Taylor Hall is a ghost? Question mark. Moving on. Los Angeles Kings.
Los Angeles Kings, you can say it's surprising that they're bad now. I think it's surprising that they were ever good. Mm-hmm. Why did they win those cups?
No one knows. Doesn't make any sense. Moving on.
Anaheim Ducks.
They are as bad as Ryan Kessler.
Wow. Nothing else needs to be said. Put a period on that.
The Arizona Coyotes.
Almost good?
I've said that word so few times in my life.
Yeah.
I can't say it correctly.
Arizona.
California.
I think it's official. We've changed the name from Arizona Coyotes to the Arizona Coyotes.
Arizona Coyotes. All in favor? Say, how?
Thanks, Leroy.
Thanks, Leroy.
Great. Good stuff.
Arizona Coyotes. What was that one again?
Almost good? So close. Either one works for me.
So they went from being the Phoenix Coyotes to being the Arizona Coyotes to, I guess, next to just expanding out America Coyotes.
To almost making the playoffs.
Someday.
In that sequential order. I don't think they'll ever make the playoffs again. Bold prediction. They're never going to make it. Have they ever made the playoffs?
Let's move on. The Chicago Blackhawks. Black Hops.
What did you say? Black hops?
I said black hops.
It's because we're drinking beer.
It's because I had hops on the breath.
Hops on the
breath.
breath.
Can you hear the hops? Listen.
Hops on the brain, hops on the breath. Chicago Black Hops. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. That's the black hops working for you.
It's the black hops.
Fermented black
was brought
hops.
to you by Black Hops.
Chicago Black Hops. On the gravestone. Let's hope it lasts. Losing dynasty?
A dynasty of losing.
What do you think about that? Dynasty of losing. We've had dynasty of winning. Let's flip the script. Losing dynasty.
We've had a few good dinosaurs.
Dinostories?
I gotta get better at these words.
Dinostories?
Dinostories. They had a dynasty, some would say, of winning, but a dynasty of losing is equally impressive. And we would like to root for the Chicago Blackhawks to continue this dynasty of losing. I'm guessing at least 10 years of them being dumpster fires.
If you know anything about the HockeySport Podcast, it's that we would rather cheer for a losing team than a winning team.
Especially if that team is Chicago losing.
Yeah.
I'd love to cheer for that.
Love to cheer for that. I hate Chicago.
In fact, I don't want to sound like a hipster here, but I was choosing to cheer for Chicago losing way before it was cool.
Speaking of losing teams, our next team is the Edmonton Oilers. What is going to be on their eulogy, their gravestone?
It's going to be a series of gifts. And since our audience listening on our podcasts, our loyal viewers, won't be able to see the gifts, I'm going to describe them. The first one is Sideshow Bob stepping on rakes. The next one is crying Jordan. And then crying P.K. Subban. And then sad Michael Cera, Charlie Brown song.
So we've got a lot of gifts there. It's going to sort of be a mosaic of gifts.
And then a couple fails. People trying to... The one where the guy tries to jump over the checkout queue.
The chain and it falls.
Hits the chain and falls.
And the guy's wrestling on top of the roof and they fall and they go through and they're really injured. Like they're hurt a lot.
You know those gifs where someone jumps into a pool hoping to break the frozen ice and it doesn't
and just
break?
Smacks on
and
it.
They just break their tailbone?
That's perfect. That should be a big one on the gravestone.
They break their Taylor Hallbone? Tailbone. Yep.
Let's move on. Florida Panthers on their gravestone. They are as good as they are popular.
Moving on. The Minnesota Mild. They're like, the Minnesota Wild's like mild salsa. I mean, like, yeah, it's salsa. Mm-hmm. But why?
Yeah.
Minnesota Mild.
Why not spicy? And they've always been mild. Let's be real.
Yeah. Even when they had Gabrick. He was like an accidental jalapeno pepper in a mild salsa that your mom goes, ooh, that was spicy. This was spicy.
Yeah, and it's like in like flashback to the factory where like the spicy mix, like one pepper accidentally flew in the mild, and that's the one that got bottled. That then, what did you say? Your mom?
My mom.
Your mom eats it. That's the one.
Too spicy for her.
Yeah. Flashback.
Yeah.
Zoom in.
Marion Gabrick, too spicy for the Minnesota Mild.
Nice.
New York Rangers?
I mean, I just feel bad for Lundqvist.
So we'll just say, we're sorry, Lundqvist.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Lundqvist. Sorry about your career, Lundqvist.
Lundqvist right now
because I mean, you don't want that guy's career.
No.
If you're an athlete, you don't want Lundqvist's career.
Mm-hmm. If you're envisioning nightmare scenarios, I'd say number one nightmare for an athlete is being Connor McDavid.
Fair.
Sort of a barren, hopeless wasteland of talent with no success.
Yeah, agreed.
And then Henrik Lundqvist is a different echelon of despairing athlete, but he's owning it. Right now, being on the New York Rangers for Henrik Lundqvist must be like being the guy in the first scene of 28 Days Later, who's just wandering around London and has no idea where everyone is.
Yeah.
The last man left.
Definitely.
Very sad. Very sad times for Lundqvist.
Yeah, he's very sad. He's becoming an even more emo band than Pecorine.
Pecorine is a great emo band.
Yeah,
but no, Henrik Lundqvist
is a Pecorine is an emo band. Lundqvist is becoming like a screamo band. Like I feel like he's getting dark, heavy metal.
I was gonna say that Pecorine is like Panic at the Disco or My Chemical Romance.
Okay, great. And then Lundqvist is like Elliott Smith.
Yeah, Lundqvist is like Elliott Smith.
Yeah.
Which is bad omen for Lundqvist.
Hope
we love you, Lundqvist.
Kill himself with a sword.
If you need help, please find it.
Call maybe don't call us. We might make fun of you. Call a family member or something like that. Let's move on. What are we doing?
I think we got to save them for last.
Oh yeah. Okay, we were gonna do Ottawa, but we got to save them for last.
Philadelphia Flyers, and the only thing on their gravestone is Rookie of the Year, Gritty.
Booyah. Vancouver Canucks. What are we gonna put on their jersey?
You have witnessed the new age of sports, the dawn of a new age.
You know that scene in Space Odyssey?
Of course.
Where Monkey throws the bone
and it turns into a spaceship.
Yeah. That's
what we witnessed this year.
Pedersen's shot turned into a spaceship. Just think about that.
The future of sports.
Future of sports.
Redefined the sport.
Is now. It's like a commercial.
Yes. A commercial for Pedersen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean like a Nike commercial. You know how like overblown those commercials are? It's like the future. Now. Ice. Skating. Slick.
Snow.
Yeah.
Steam.
Athletes.
A girl.
That's what it was like. That's what watching the Canucks season was like.
Pedersen. In that ad. I can see it.
Yeah.
Does Nike make boots?
I hope so.
I don't know if Nike... That says something about hockey.
Do they make skating boots?
I don't think Nike makes anything hockey related, which kind of is sad that hockey doesn't have Nike. Like, we're not big time.
Adidas has hockey now. CCM doesn't exist anymore.
That's depressing. What does CCM stand for?
Very dark. Connor McDavid.
So prescient.
Yep.
I don't know how they knew that. That's amazing. Just amazing.
It's a lineage. His father owns it. His father's name is Connor McDavid. Mm-hmm. So he's technically Connor McDavid Jr. It's just not on the jersey.
Would anyone notice if Connor McDavid didn't play one game and Conor McGregor played for him? Would it make the Oilers worse?
Would it make them worse? Is a better question. Would it make them worse?
Could they be worse? Here's the thing about Connor McDavid. He is great. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
You will not have any tape of me saying anything bad about Connor McDavid.
I'm sure we could find something.
I mean, I can't imagine the things I might say about him.
Okay. Yep. The archives are huge. And
the archives are huge, and people do like to tweet at us from our archives. But I've never said anything bad about Connor McDavid, and I never will. No. But if I were to say something bad about him right now, it would be that, why does your team suck if you're so great? Anyways, moving on.
I'll say something bad about Connor McDavid right now. You're stuck in a terrible contract with a bad team. You're wasting your life.
I think it's time for Connor McDavid to look at other careers. Do you think he should get, like, I don't know, CRA? Or, like, get a plumbing? I hear trades are big.
Sure.
Accounting.
He has, like, a good physical physique, so he could be, like, a construction guy or something. Like, building houses. I feel like that'd be good.
It's just not working out.
Is there anything more insulting than actually telling someone that they are actively wasting their life? I think that's the most genuine insult I could give to somebody.
The only other thing you can say to someone that's worse is you've wasted your life.
True.
Ryan Kessler.
Good point.
Wasted his life.
Connor McDavid, Ryan Kessler.
Steve Bannon.
Sure.
3 people I couldn't pick out of a lineup.
Yep.
They are one and the same.
Wasting, wasted.
Fucking waste.
Fucking waste. There you go. And last, and certainly least, the Ottawa Senators.
Ottawa.
What to say? What to say?
I think their lasting legacy, and it might be the greatest legacy of any team this year.
It might be the greatest team in history, just based on pure bullshit.
Just sure, like TMZ level,
garbage. Level, like a National Enquirer.
Yeah,
like this is huge.
Yeah, it's been as salacious as fucking, if you search Flat Earthers or Kennedy assassination on YouTube or Ottawa Senators 2018-19, those will both give you like equally sensational, ridiculous results. You'd be like, what? None of this can be true. It's all true.
They've been as Salacious B. Crumb, character from Return of the Jedi.
Who's pretty salacious. He's a very salacious character.
Very salacious character.
I think that they will have the greatest impact on the league of any team that played this year because going up into the rafters in the Ottawa Senators Parliament, what do they play? In the rafters, in Ottawa, in Parliament, it will say they have disrupted the balance of power in the league in a way that will ripple through the league for generations.
I assume they play in the government Parliament buildings. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a rink in there, right?
There's a rink right in front of the Prime Minister's
right next to the caucus? Like right next to sort of where they hold...
Justin Trudeau is the GM of the Ottawa Senators, isn't he?
I assume.
Okay.
Is Jody Wilson-Raybould, is she like...
She was assistant GM, and then she got demoted to equipment manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was scandalous, but also, I mean, it's not the most scandalous thing that's happened in Ottawa this year.
Yeah, and also it's like Canadian hockey politics, so like who cares? It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, it is nice that if you become an MP in the Canadian Parliament, you get free season tickets to the Ottawa Senators games. Unfortunately, that's why no one's wanting to be in politics in Canada anymore. Yeah,
it is, and it's tough, deciding on Canadian policy in the middle of an Ottawa Senators game.
Oh yeah, they hold all of their votes
with the boos and
with the Ottawa Senators going,
and the jeers, and Ottawa just losing every game. It's demoralizing. It's like we can't get anything done.
It is. Yeah, that's why
there's a lot of environmental regulations that I'd like to get passed through, but. Fucking Dzingel got traded and no one gives a shit.
People are freaking out. Environmental regulations. How else are we going to get hotter, blacker ice?
We've been saying it for years.
The two things that are holding hockey back. I don't mean to cut you off, but we're both passionate about this.
Please do.
The two things that have been holding hockey back for years is that the ice is too cold and too white. We need hotter, blacker ice. Hot, black ice. We're working on it.
One day it'll happen. We're working tirelessly on it. 24 hours.
I'm tired.
A month.
I've been working so tirelessly that I am now tired.
I work tirelessly and I'm never tired. That's the definition of tirelessly. I am not tired.
You haven't reached my level of tirelessness. I am so tiredless that I'm now tired. I've surpassed tiredlessness.
Wow. In a circle.
It's circular.
Two negatives have made a positively idiotic statement.
All right, and there's one last gravestone we have to do. Of course, the Carolina Hurricanes. I want to put a pin in their season. They missed the playoffs. Didn't they miss the playoffs?
No, they're in.
They're in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Fuck. I wrote this bit at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
For them missing the I mean, I figured get some of my work done, get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
10 straight. Like, they never make the playoffs.
Wow.
Anyways, I wrote this back then, so I'm just going to read it.
Yeah, read it.
I really thought they were going to miss the playoffs. Who are they playing?
I don't know. They're going to fucking lose anyway. They suck.
Yeah, they're not good, are they?
They're kind of good, but fuck them.
Their captain's Justin Williams. Isn't that kind of like 90s night?
Yeah. Is that kind of like a throwback?
Yeah. Oh, man. Remember the things he did for other teams?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways. No, I feel like I shouldn't do it now.
No, do it. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'll do one. Carolina, on your gravestone at the end of the year.
Yep.
It was just going to be, who cares?
You got a problem with that?
I think that's how they would want to be remembered.
Fight me.
Carolina Hurricanes. Fuck you,
fight me.
Yeah.
Fuck you, fight me. That works for me.
Fuck you, fight me would be a much better slogan for the playoffs. And on that note, maybe it's time.
Is it?
Is it time? Does it feel like time?
It's close.
Test the air.
I'm testing it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the temperature. There's a slight breeze because we have the window open.
Okay.
It's a little bit cool. It's nice.
Does it feel like time for the HockeySport Podcast theme music?
It kind of feels like time.
Okay. Then let's cue it.
Cue it, baby, cue it.
Booyah! Welcome to the HockeySport Podcast.
Welcome back.
You have stuck with us through thick and thin.
We want to thank all the fans so much. Come here. Give us a
Give
hug.
us a hug.
Give us whatever you're listening this to on, a phone, a computer,
sound system played in North Korea.
a mini disc player from 1995. Give it a hug.
Those headphones that don't
Give it a hug.
that have a wire, but they still call themselves wireless.
Oh, I like the headphones that you put on and they have like a plastic strap around the back. You know, the ones that you'd have with a CD player.
Oh,
like they go
around the back.
They're
It's more-
over
it's
the
kind of
ears
a
and
tension.
around the back.
It's like it just sort of.
Over the ears, around the back. I miss those. Bring them back.
Yeah.
Apple.
Well, hug
talking
'em.
to you.
Long story short, hug them. Give us a hug. We hug you
us.
back.
Hug us.
If you email HockeySportPodcast@gmail.com, we will
Emails.
send you a picture of us, arms wide open,
Please.
like our favorite song.
With arms wide open.
Thank you.
Under
And you can
the
hug that picture.
sunlight.
Also, request any other pictures. We'll probably send them to you as well. We're very
Please do.
open to pretty much any request.
Man, it's always great to be here. It's always great to be back. I know that you have missed us. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to catch you up on.
If you're wondering
a lot
why
of
we
shit
haven't
has happened. A lot of
been
shit's
here for a
happened. Go
while, we have been journal sporting
We've been
to
busy.
the utmost of our abilities.
Yeah, we've been busy. We've been checking the
Following
papers,
leads,
following the newspaper
doing
leads.
some readings.
We were doing a lot of readings, watching a lot of TV. There's been a lot of hockey in the last couple days. I don't know if you've seen it, but the season ended.
We didn't feel right coming to you guys without the utmost of, we would say, Pulitzer Prize worthy, at least Booker Prize.
I'm talking Man
winning
Booker. I'm talking
Rhodes
Pulitzer
Scholar,
Prize. I'm talking
Oscar,
Newbery
EGOT,
Award.
Newbery Award. I would say that
I
we
want
should
the
be
Nebula.
We should up a Hugo.
Hugo. Give us a Hugo. Fuck it.
Of all of the awards I think we deserve, which is all of them, actually that should be the end of the sentence. That's the end of my sentence.
That's a good end of the sentence. And it's a good start of my new sentence, which is
My
happening
new
right
sentence.
now.
My new sentence sounds like a spin-off series for Orange is the New Black
It sounds like a children's book.
about a dad who goes to prison.
My new sentence. My daddy's new sentence. How to
Yes.
deal with your dad's new
How
sentence
to
when
deal
your dad
with
goes to prison.
How to deal with your dad's recidivism.
We are back, and this is a very special episode because it is the playoff preview episode. The playoffs haven't started yet. You're all getting ready for it, and we're going to catch you up on all the new details. We got a lot of stories to follow. A lot of shit happened. We just eulogied all the other teams, so let's move on now. Let's move straight on into what is going to happen as opposed to what just happened.
Well, as everybody knows that listens to this podcast, we're not the types that make predictions. When we say something, it happens, it has happened, or it will happen. And frankly, at this point, a lot of other people out there, newscasters, sportscasters, and just deranged people on the streets wearing no clothes, are saying they know what's going to happen in the Stanley Cup Final or the second coming of Jesus.
Yep.
We don't think we know. In fact, we have studied all of the possible options for what's going to happen and determined it's unknowable.
We know we don't know. That's the point. That's
There's
the
one
point.
thing we're sure about. It's that we are not sure.
We're scientists here at the HockeySport
Absolutely.
Podcast.
Everything's just a theory.
Science sport, journal sport, Nobel Prize winning sport. We don't know what's going to happen.
I believe that Tampa will win the cup in the same way I believe that there is gravity. In that I don't.
Based on evidence that has been presented to us.
Yes.
So-
it is the most likely theory. That is all.
Sure. That's all we can.
There are other very
Glean
likely
from
theories
it.
for what holds us down to the earth.
But we don't really know.
Exactly.
I mean,
Air pressure.
those photos of the round Earth might be doctored.
They might be doctored. Exactly. All
Jet
the
fuel.
photos.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Just saying.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know that for sure, but that's the point.
The point is we heard this somewhere and we are reverberating it.
When I hear something, I give it the maximum amount of thought.
And how much thought is that? Recreate for us via silence how long you think about things that you hear day to day.
So our next top story,
Very good.
which is happening right now, we're going to start off with our Zams. Let's hit the Zam cue. Let's Zam it, baby.
This is our Zamboni section. If you guys are not aware, Zambonis clean the ice, removes all of the blemishes and bumps that might ruin a beautiful PD Deke.
This is the shit that we're just not going to talk about.
We're not going to talk about it. We're going to Zamboni this away, wipe it clean. You don't want to hear about it. It's been said. It's been talked about enough.
The HockeySport Podcast is about not talking about the stories that everyone's talking about. So
the first story
we're not going to talk about is coach hirings and firings at the end of the year. So many people are talking about this shit. None of it matters. Who cares? It's like the perfect sweep under the rug political move. It's like, I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm totally bored of it. It's like it's like, you know how politicians will do some crazy shit under the rug because like they have a political scandal in the front headlines, and they're like, meanwhile they're like destroying all the environmental regulations and stuff.
Oh, this is a good time to introduce my illegitimate child because I just killed a bunch of birds in the Dominican.
Yeah, all the bird killing politicians in Canada.
Exactly.
They're sweeping it under the rug, and that's what's happening with these coach firings. It's like playoffs are happening, so it's the perfect time to do some crazy shit in your organization, and I just don't care.
Yeah. No one cares. But what's great about it is that I would like to zam with extreme prejudice.
Steve, I don't want you to do anything in this podcast from now on without extreme prejudice.
Okay.
I want it all.
I don't want to do anything without extreme prejudice from now on. And in fact, that will be the HockeySport promise.
Let's make a promise to our listeners.
There will be prejudice.
It will be extreme.
Extreme prejudice, everything we do.
Lock it in, load it, and fire it off like a Columbus Blue Jackets cannon.
Absolutely. And this Zamboni will be done with extreme prejudice. If you fire a coach that was hired with the promise of being fired in the first place, don't even tell us.
Yeah, I don't care that Willie...
Do it in a dark alley and bury the body.
Sure.
Willie Desjardins and Ken Hitchcock, I shouldn't be thinking about these people. They should just cease to exist at the end of the year.
This is what I'm picturing. They take Willie D.
And Willie D.
Kenny
can we just talk about that pair of words for a second? Willie D.
Okay, just pause for a second.
Pause for a second.
They take Willie D.
Take a mental sketch.
They take Kenny He. Ken Hitchcock.
Yeah, got it.
They take him out to a cornfield. They dig a little ditch.
They
beat the shit out of them with baseball bats. They beat the shit out of them with baseball bats. They throw them in, and barely alive, they bury them alive. A la Casino.
Exactly.
That's what I'm picturing. The scene from Casino.
That would be a
spoiler alert for Casino. If nobody's seen Casino, that's what happens to Joe Pesci. I just spoiled it even more. But when I said spoiler alert, you should have cued out if you hadn't seen Casino. For the people out there who are like, oh, I really wanted to see Casino.
We just saved you 3 hours.
You should have seen it already, and it's not that great. I mean, there's cool scenes in it, but it's not great overall.
Basically, if you want to see Casino, just watch the 2017-18 Vegas Golden Knights, and you'll understand the exact same plot.
It's the same.
Corruption, murder, fear, and winning money.
I mean, it's almost like the documentary of the Vegas Golden Knights management.
If you want
an expose on the Golden Knights management.
Prove to me that Robert De Niro is not the CEO of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Right now.
You can't.
You can't.
Because we're the only people in the room and we're not talking to anybody in real life. So no one can prove it except us, and we're not going to do that because we believe it.
You know why we won't do that? Because it wasn't with extreme prejudice. We do everything prejudicedly, extremely.
Dan straight.
Dan straight.
Okay, so Zammed. Number one Zammed.
Number one Zammed. Coach is firing. Also adding to that, coach is hiring. Again, same deal. Don't care.
Anything that rhymes with firing or hiring. Liaring?
Liaring. A lyre is an instrument.
Sure.
Playing it must be liaring.
Yep. I don't want
tiring.
I don't want any of that.
We've already talked about how we are tireless in our pursuit for justice.
True. No tiring during this podcast. We need to get some coffee or more beer.
Red Bull, beer, mix it all together.
All of it. Tequila. It's the only drink that's an upper, not a downer.
It's the only drink that's an upper.
Let's do
and a downer. It must also be a downer.
Sure, it probably is.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's an upper and a downer, just like
watching a Minnesota Wild game.
It's an upper and a downer.
And a downer.
It's
Because
like
it's hockey, but it's Minnesota Wild.
yeah, and it's like and they're winning, but it's boring.
Yeah. It's like they're going to make the playoffs, but they might as well have just saved themselves the time.
Don't you love that? Minnesota fans listening, come on, we're roasting you. I mean, get on
You
board.
thought you were safe.
You thought you were
You
safe.
thought you were safe.
You know, get in the
You weren't.
Hockey Sport Podcast Club. You know, we hit everybody, and sure, you have one of the stalls. But how many stalls are there? Every team has
Wait,
one.
there's what?
I'm pretty sure every team
There's
has at
multiple
least a stall.
stalls?
Yeah, there's more than one stall. You didn't know that?
No, there's Eric.
Yeah, but there's also like Kyle and Jordan and like Matt.
No.
Tyler.
There's no more stalls.
There's a Tanner
one stall.
There's definitely a Tanner stall.
There's no way.
I bet you
there's
$1 million that there's a Tanner stall.
There's one stall. I'll take that bet.
There's a Bradley stall out there for sure.
Fuck. I mean, it does happen. This is a bad bet.
There's at
for me
least
to take.
2 Matt stalls.
There's 2 Matt stalls.
For sure.
You're gonna-
Keith? You think there's not a
You know
Keith
what?
stall out
Fuck,
there?
man. After what happened with Joel Lundqvist,
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe.
Who
anymore.
knows what to believe anymore?
If there's another Lundqvist out there, there might be 12 stalls.
I bet there's 12 stalls.
If anyone
A
knows
dozen
how many
stalls?
stalls there are, you know what's funny? The NHL, unlike the bathrooms in their arenas, have too many stalls.
Wow. Nailed it.
Poetry.
Just hit that hard. Clink the skates.
Clink the skates.
Clink
That's
the
for good
skates
luck.
and let's move on.
Let's move on.
This is going to be a tough one, Steve.
This is going to be.
We got to buckle
really tough
down
one.
right here. And it's going to be a tough one for our listeners as well because, as you all know, as we know,
As you all deserve.
we all give to you the highest form of comedy that we can.
Yep.
Okay, we're always trying to fire on all cylinders, give you what you love. That's why we speak without thinking and drink without moving.
Moving on.
The point is,
Yeah.
we drink. That's the point. And we are drinking while we record the podcast. And here's the deal. Why would you listen to sober analysis of hockey? You drink when you watch hockey. Why wouldn't you want people to drink when you listen to them talking about hockey?
Right. It's a
You know what I'm
sport
saying?
that is digested with a nice glass of beer beside it.
Yep.
And here we are supposed to assume that these people who are not drinking have anything good to say.
You can't analyze sports when you're not a little bit lit.
Absolutely.
You got to be a little turnt to at least watch a Calgary game. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
why whenever I'm talking about hockey, I'm drunk. And whenever I'm talking about baseball, I'm on meth. Learn your audience.
Caffeine pills.
Caffeine pills and Bacardi breezers.
This is why we got these skate boot things. This is why we won these skate boot things at Salvation Army.
For the people not listening, for
anyone not
please
listening.
listen.
For anyone not listening, turn it up.
Turn it up. For the people not watching, we are doing a simulcast on YouTube. HockeySport Podcast at youtube.com.
Check it out. HockeySport on YouTube.
It's happening. And in my hand
happening.
right now, for those who are visually impaired or listening to us on the podcast, same thing.
Morse code Braille.
I am holding an incredible piece of Canadiana history. A Molson Canadian 64-ounce boot.
Look at these things. It's a big red boot that holds at least almost 3 beers, 2 tall cans.
It's extreme.
We Googled it, couldn't figure out what promotional ad it was for, but we bought them for way less than they're worth on eBay. So that's a win for us.
And is the official vessel of HockeySport Podcast drinking from now on.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome too. And they're heavy as fuck.
HockeySport Podcast, bringing you the analysis that's as drunk as you are.
Woo-hoo! Our next Zam is a tough one, and it's going to be hard.
We've been trying to get to it.
We've been trying to get to it. We've been trying to get to it, and
build
now,
up our
now we
stamina
are getting to
and
it.
our fearlessness.
It's one that our listeners aren't going to be happy about, and we're not going to be happy about. But we got to try it. We got to try it.
We're doing something that is against the best interest of our listeners.
That's right.
But
Self-sacrificing.
we must prevail and persevere.
We're zamming puns.
Puns.
No puns this episode.
Puns.
No puns.
No puns. No.
You hear that, Leroy? No puns. Okay? You got to zam us if you hear a pun. It's going to be tough. It's the majority of our comedy.
We have been told.
I love puns.
By numerous comedy legends.
Sure.
As you might call them.
Yep.
Seinfeld. Richard Pryor.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Loves the HockeySport Podcast. Big listener.
Loves it. These are all pun-based comedians.
Absolutely.
Chris Rock. That's a pun-based comedian.
All of the
Dave
writers
Chappelle.
of NHL.com.
Yep.
Pun-based.
Pun-based comedians.
But we are transcending to a higher echelon of journal sport.
Yep.
And hockey writing sport. And we have to abandon puns.
I feel like we just used too many puns last episode, and we got to like do different styles.
It's a promise to a younger us.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So
sometimes you got to do that, just like Matthew McConaughey in his Academy Award-winning speech when he said
wait,
his hero is 10 years away from himself.
I remember the speech.
You remember that?
I don't remember him winning an Academy Award for the speech.
Did they give out awards for
I don't know.
speeches?
You said it was the Academy Award-winning speech.
We should give out awards for the best speech next Academy Awards.
I would say the Academy Award for Best Speech of the Year was certainly Connor McDavid asking for a trade by the Edmonton Oilers management.
That was the Academy Award for the best speech.
Yeah,
best speech of the year.
Best speech of the year.
Connor McDavid. Let's give out the award. Bring him up here. Best speech.
Oh, it was a close
best
race.
Speech of the year. It was a close race. I'm sure Bobrovsky said some weird shit during the Columbus.
Ovechkin probably mispronounced a few words and left out a couple syllables.
But Connor McDavid, you sealed it with your "I'm frustrated, trade me" speech. That was gold.
That was the title.
That was gold. So you got it.
Connor, do you have anything to say in thanks of this illustrious award?
Yeah, it sucks, obviously. It's not good enough.
Wow.
Scathing of the Oilers.
Scathing.
Anyway, no puns. So
harshest thing Connor McDavid ever said about the Oilers was the face he had on when he was announced to be drafted in the draft lottery.
Brutal. And that's what you get when you get no puns. So also I'd like to say that that's what the fans are like when we deliver a punless episode.
Yeah. We've just subscribed you to a humorless, horrible next 75 minutes.
But we'll try, and we'll probably end up doing some puns and zamming each other. So that's what's fun about it.
This beer, our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, we have a sponsor. It is Phillips Tiger Shark Citrus Pale Ale.
Meniscus.
Tiger Shark, obviously, the San Jose Sharks and the Detroit Red Tigers.
Mm-hmm. Also the cheapest beer at the liquor store.
Surprisingly so.
So that's why we got it.
For people that are Vegas Golden Knights fans that think that Sharks...
Boo!
That are afraid of the Sharks, playing them in the first round, I have one solution for you. An easy way to kill a shark. A six-pack holder.
Yep. Also, sharks can't swim backwards.
Can any fish?
That's a good point.
Hummingbirds can. They can swim backwards.
Can they?
Yeah. Put a hummingbird underwater. They can swim backwards.
Swim backwards.
Yep.
Better than a shark.
Much better. In fact, hummingbirds can also kill a shark.
Also, hummingbirds can fly. Can sharks fly?
There's no science that dictates either way.
We haven't figured it out yet. The science is still up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Still open for debate.
And that brings us to our next Zamboni.
This Zamboni means a lot to us at the HockeySport Podcast. It should mean a lot to you, the fans. In the face of the playoffs, we want to Zamboni all Canadian rivalries. Look, come on, people now. Smile on your brother.
Everybody get together.
Try to love one another. Listen, Vancouver, Toronto. Why is there so much Leaf hate in this city? Why is there so much Calgary hate in this city? There's probably a lot of Winnipeg hate in this city, too. What's the deal?
There's none.
Who gives a shit? Canada. Let's bring the cup back to Canada.
Bring the cup back to Canada. If I was a Edmonton Toilets fan, I'd be rooting for them to trade McDavid to any better Canadian team.
Yeah, please. Bring McDavid to the Canucks.
Bring McDavid to the Canucks so we can finally get a cup back in Canada where it belongs.
I bet more people in Vancouver are rooting for the Bruins to win than the Leafs to win. And that's fucked up.
If you're rooting for the Bruins to win...
Why? Fuck you.
have some horrible problem
That's
you have to
weird.
work out.
That's weird.
Rooting for the Bruins to win is like when someone on the bus like elbows you out of the way and you're like, okay, I get it. Something else is going on in your life.
Yeah.
Which is causing this anger.
It doesn't have to do with hockey.
It has nothing to do with me being on this bus.
It's personal.
It's personal.
Yes.
You are in the worst of places.
Sure, yes. If you're rooting for the Bruins, it's a deeply personal problem.
It's a character flaw.
I get it, so I don't want to bash you for that because you're going to therapy for it. But we shouldn't be rooting against these Canadian teams. Let's all band together, go Calgary, go Leafs, go Winnipeg.
Easy. So Canadian rivalries, the idea that we should be rooting for one Canadian team or the other, root for them all.
Root for them.
Easy.
And if Toronto and Winnipeg make it to the finals,
root for Winnipeg.
Root for Winnipeg, obviously.
Obviously.
Fuck Toronto. Leafs suck.
Fuck Calgary.
Leafs suck.
Fuck them.
Fuck Calgary and fuck the
Calgary
Leafs.
should never have won a cup.
No, bullshit. Toronto has never won a cup. If Toronto's won a cup, Vancouver's won a cup. Go Jets, go Jets, go Jets.
Go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our next and quite special Permastan.
Ooh, this is the first Permastan in the history of the HockeySport Podcast.
Ever groundbreaking Permastan.
Listen, we Zamboni topics that we don't want to talk about. That's what the Zamboni is. We take them out. Sometimes we permazam topics. Permanently Zamboniing a topic. Permastan is
the permanent Zamboniing of a playoff Stanley Cup topic. And this year it is unfortunate, but we have no choice. But for the remainder of the Stanley Cup playoffs, we are permastanning
the Nashville Predators. Go big or go home. We're not talking about them at all. You're out. Sorry, Nashville fans.
I just don't think it's a story. It's just not a thing.
It's like they might win the first round and then lose in the second round. That's probably what's going to happen. And who cares? It happens every round. Nashville, just don't. For all these people following the playoffs, just Nashville's not. Just don't. You're not. Don't be a fan of Nashville. Don't root for them. It doesn't matter. It's boring.
A good example of why they've been permastand is that, remember when they went to the final and they had a bunch of country singers, like A-list country singers play?
Yeah,
every
like Bradley
single
Cooper,
game.
Lady Gaga.
Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga.
Garth Snow.
Leonard Jeff Skinner.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking for. Leonard Jeff Skinner.
Well, backing it up, pun or no pun, the Nashville Predators will not be discussed in this podcast henceforth.
They're done.
How many Nashville fans do you think we just lost with that zamming?
How many Nashville fans are there? Thousands?
Better question.
Hundreds?
Thousands?
Millions?
Hundreds? Millions?
I'm not sure how many we lost.
Definitely not millions.
I'm going to go with 0. I don't think any Nashville fans listen to this podcast.
If you're a Nashville fan that has listened to this podcast, can we kindly ask you to please leave?
Exit the arena.
Take your Western Conference champion banner and go.
We've alienated a lot of fan bases.
Who do you think are our top 5 alienated fan bases, Daniel?
Top 5 alienated fan bases. Number 1, Boston Bruins. Number 2, I would say somebody else, but I'm leaving them for last because they deserve last. Number 1, Boston Bruins. Number 2, Nashville Predators, just because it's most recent, they get 2.
It's fresh.
Number 3, I don't know, Arizona, because who gives a shit. Number 4,
because they probably just feel alienated.
They probably feel alienated from the NHL at all. Number 4, did I say Ottawa? Did I say Ottawa yet?
There's no way that the Ottawa fan base is against us.
I mean, they're just alienated.
They probably agree with everything
in general.
They are generally alienated.
Alienated.
They are the disenfranchised.
And I would say number 5. Well, okay, fine, not Ottawa then, because they're just generally alienated. Not throwing them into that pile. I'm going to say the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Toronto Maple Leafs are a sensitive bunch.
And we've definitely zammed them several times.
They're zammed until otherwise specified.
So definitely the Maple Leafs. And number 5, but also number 1, the Edmonton Toilets.
I would say the Toilets are number 31 or 32. Whatever.
Right. You only give me possible. 5, though. You only give me 5.
I know, but I just think they should be last.
Sure.
Like
so
dead.
1 through 4.
Last.
1 through 4, and then 31.
Nail Yakupov's career last.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to a team that is not last, and we are doing the good service of unzamming the Pittsburgh Penguins.
We're good people.
I think that's without dispute. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, for some reason, have been forgotten.
Yeah, why doesn't anybody realize that they're still good? What the fuck?
They are.
No one talks about them.
I can't believe
no
I'm
one
saying
talks
this.
about them. And
The
like,
Pittsburgh
if
Penguins-
Pittsburgh played Tampa, would you really be? Is Tampa really the overdog in that series?
Yeah.
Doubtful.
Hard to know.
Doubtful.
Hard to
Doubtful.
know.
Doubtful.
Very hard to know.
Very hard
I would
to know.
say doubtfully hard to know.
Doubtfully hard to know.
This is going to sound like a cataclysmic moment for hockey sport world. But the Pittsburgh Penguins
every hockey sport podcast
has won. The Pittsburgh Penguins
shatter the world.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are the new Washington Capitals.
Oh, boom, boom, boom. Drop it like it's hot. Snooze.
I thought you were going to say snooze, you lose.
You snooze, you lose, Pittsburgh. It's so true. They are the new Washington
People
Capitals.
just
because no one cares about them.
They can win.
This is like we have no mental what's the word? Fortitude. We have no mental fortitude. There's no.
How is it possible that we've forgotten that the Pittsburgh Penguins have the same team that won 2 cups?
There's no attention span. It's like, oh, they're good or they're immediately bad. It's just a fact. We got to talk about it more.
We're giving the rest of the league the opportunity to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yep. And they will be talked about because they're going to win that series and people are going to start talking about them.
We're
And they
not
might even beat the Capitals and be in the conference final. What the fuck?
Beyond that, I'm not even saying they're going to win. I'm just saying that they have been criminally forgotten.
Yes, criminally forgotten. Agreed.
It's
criminally
almost
forgotten.
like when the Penguins play the Capitals, whichever team loses that series is just erased.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? Capitals lost the Penguins 17 years in a row. Well, they're erased, so we can't talk about them.
This is a product of our bullshit playoff system. It's a product of it.
Agreed. Let's move on.
That's all our Zams, and so we're getting ready for the top stories. But first, we'd like to introduce you to our first
an incredible
guest of the episode.
Our guest,
the recently
Mr.
retired
Bobular
Coleman, Bob Cole.
Bob Kolzig.
Happy to have him on the show. He gets a little bit too much flack, in my opinion. People don't like him because he's old and he misses calls. He's fucking old. Give him a break.
He doesn't know any names. It doesn't matter. He doesn't need to know names.
He's been great most of his career. If I have a career, anything like that, I'll be very happy. I want to be 85 and fucking up.
He's like a guy he just is hockey. His voice is hockey. And doesn't have to call things quickly or, know a lot while the game's going on. But he is hockey.
I mean, this is a perfect example of what we're
like
going to be.
firing the puck.
Listen, we're going to be still hockey sporting when we're 85 to 97 years old, right?
I think we can make another 10 years.
We're going to be even more unintelligible than we are right now.
Unintelligible? More like Yes, go on. Bob Cole. I can't listen to this and not wonder what will be happening the year that we retire from HockeySport podcasting. Let's do a prediction round right now.
Sure. Prediction round.
The year is 2089.
Sure.
A solid 70 years from now. I think that's fair.
I'm going to say the Vancouver Canucks win their first Stanley Cup. That's what I say. Drink to that.
That's a dark prediction. You're
Chug
saying we
that
have to
down.
wait 70 years for a Canuck Cup.
That's what I'm saying. Darkest timeline, baby.
I'm going to say at that point, the Cup, the whole retiring of rings of the Cup?
Mm-hmm.
They retire a ring so it stays the same size.
Yeah,
None of that. I'm done with that. That's dumb.
Let's make it bigger and taller.
Bigger
let's
and
make
taller.
it bigger and taller, like a tower.
The players,
Stanley Tower.
The Stanley Tower. The players are getting taller. The Cup should too.
Players are getting taller. Cups are getting taller.
Arenas are probably getting taller.
Yep.
And speaking of taller, I think that in 2089, the Cup will be won by the Dubai
Tall
Garbage
mans.
Islands. Either are acceptable.
We nailed it.
Both are possible.
Listen back and see if you
Just
can
listen
decipher
back.
what each of us
Left
said.
is Daniel, right is Steven.
Mono.
Or listen to it in mono, and you won't be able to hear what we're saying.
Mono.
Mono. I feel like I've said the word mono too much.
Mono. Did you ever get mono in high school?
No, I didn't. Did you?
No.
No, the way you asked that question implies you 100%.
No, I never did.
Specifically.
No, 100%. I never did. Some people got mono in our high school. And I bet in other high schools, I bet the fans
This
know.
story is getting thin. I feel like you got mono.
I
and
have never got mono.
You
I've
are
never got mono.
floundering
I
here.
swear to McJesus that I've never had mono.
Oof, that's a very intense thing to say.
Yep,
You should not take the Lord's name in vain.
Lord McJesus, who broketh his leggeth in halfeth in the lasteth game of the season.
And thus he did say, ouchie. Everyone. Ouchie. Amen. Back to Bob Cole. Bob, excited to have you on the program.
Bobby.
We're waiting for that iconic voice to tune in to our station, so that's going to be good. Looking at that at the top
I'm
of the hour.
excited. I think we're going to be friends. I think we're going to get along quite well.
What do you think you and Bob Cole are going to do together as friends, activity-wise?
I think probably golf. I think we're probably going to be good golf buddies. I think Bob Cole's got a great swing, a nice chip, and a great solid putt game. I bet Bob Cole can
feel confident
putt like
that
a
I can
fucking
beat Bob
maniac.
Cole in Scrabble. I just feel confident.
Yeah, I mean,
When he plays Biskexa, I'm challenging.
I suck at Scrabble, so I've got no bearing in this argument.
Well, you can play golf with him, and I'll play Scrabble.
Okay, so
It'll
me
be
and
very Handmaid's Tale.
Bob Cole and I will play golf. Steve and Bob Cole will play Scrabble, and the winner of each will face the other winner in a series of
Golf Scrabble.
golf Scrabble games. You got a golf, you got a Scrabble, and also let's throw boxing into the mix.
Sorry, golf? Club sport?
Grabble?
Grabble? Boxing?
Scrabble?
Punch board?
Scrolf?
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 Punch board.
Scrolf.
At least Scrolf sport.
Scrolf sport, sure.
Cut to us not responding.
Cut to who gives a shit. We are up in the stakes. We're motivating the players. How are we going to do this?
Imagine.
It's an interesting question, and we're about to answer it.
Imagine you're on the ice. You're going for the goal. You got the puck. It's your
Sure.
last
Breakaway.
chance.
It's a breakaway.
Last minute of the fucking game.
Last minute of the game, breakaway.
And then you remember the back of your head, oh, right. The general manager has my family duct taped in a back room
Yep.
with a shadowy man with a gun, ready to execute them. You score that goal.
And
every time.
And if you're thinking, hey, general managers don't do illegal shit. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights. Give me a break. Illegal shit's been going on for an entire year. We're just doubling down on it.
How did they get to that position in the first place
Give me a
without
break.
doing illegal shit?
We're talking about kidnapping families. We're talking about threatening limbs.
And we're not talking about... Oh, yeah,
If
limbs.
you score, we're going to cut your hand off, so don't score.
For years, we're only borrowing this from the experts. People that have taken hostages or done ransom. No, a finger goes a long way. Just a pinky.
Just a pinky. All we're talking about is pinky. It's the smallest one.
And it's
Doesn't
only
have a lot
because
to do with the
I-
shot either. It's mostly in the index and the forefinger.
Yeah.
Same with the catching glove. You don't use a lot of pinky in hockey.
I'm certainly not going to threaten...
Quick caviar.
Oh, of course.
How much pinky action is used in hockey?
More than most sports, I would guess.
Yeah.
Then again, foot sport?
Bait sport? Hoop sport?
There must be some pinky action. In
I still think
hoop sport.
pinky. I think pinky's done. Who needs a pinky? Eventually, humans might evolve pinkyless. It's a tough name.
That's the thing. You look at Lou Lamoriello's teams.
Yep.
No beards, and also many players don't have pinkies. He
Pinkyless.
knows how to
Pinkyless
motivate pinkyless teams.
Yeah, no beards,
You
no
know,
pinkies.
you lose a
no
pinky,
beards,
you
no
lose a
pinkies.
ring finger. You're gonna play better.
So
Jamie Langenbrunner and Zach Parise both don't have pinky fingers or ring fingers, and
Yep.
they have 2 cup rings. Lou Lamoriello's rule, from the way I understand it, is as long as they have enough fingers to put on the cup rings, I'm gonna get them. They're okay.
Here's what I want. Death penalty. You die in the game, you die in real life. I want death in game. You die in the game, you die in real life.
So you're talking about the entire team.
Penalty shot. Let's say a penalty shot happens in overtime. If the goalie gets scored on, he's dead. If the player doesn't score, he's dead. You die in the game, you die in real life.
On ice?
On ice, death, execution.
Who doesn't and how? Black hood.
Sure.
You don't know who it is, but
punch,
he's wearing a
punch from behind.
Avalanche.
Punch from behind.
Punch from behind.
Fall on him.
Yeah.
Freak neck accident.
And every time you think fair.
That's how you kill. Either that or somebody shooting a bow and arrow from the top stands. Just a bow and arrow just shot from the stands.
Yes. It's done immediately.
Bows, just several bow and arrows.
Ooh,
because somebody might miss.
Is given a bow.
Everybody in the audience is given a bow and arrow. Penalty shot. Okay. If you miss, shoot him dead.
Here's how it happens. Overtime.
You die in the game, you die in real life.
Colorado, Game 7, overtime. Goudreau gets a penalty shot. He knows that everyone in the audience has been handed a bow and arrow.
Draw?
He knows that everyone in the audience has been given the draw command.
Yeah.
They all have it ready to go. Him versus Grubauer. It's going to be Grubauer.
Who the fuck is Grubauer? Is that Colorado's goalie? I thought it was like Varlamov.
Write us in.
Write us in, because I don't know anymore. It's tough to
know.
Follow. There's a lot of teams that it's tough to follow.
It is tough to follow.
Anyway.
Goalies are certainly the most replaceable.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
It's like, who's starting in goal? Okay, I get that Lehner's doing good in the Islanders, but there's another guy in the Islanders that's doing good.
Oh, man, I wanted to pun so hard there, but I can't.
But you can't, but you could. Let's pause for a second, and let's all assume we know what pun you were going to do.
Lamer.
No, you weren't supposed to say it.
I did though. I'm sorry. But lamer.